I have a son and a son-in-law currently serving in the armed forces. My son was on notice to go on a deployment quite quickly, and I presumed it would in the Middle East, and it would have just been awful. Thank goodness that Farage and Badenoch were in control, sending us into a war over which they had no control. They're not thinking about the individuals serving, and they're not thinking about their families.
So I joined the Air Force when I was 18, served 23 years. What I think about Badenoch and Farage planning to blindly follow America into another unplanned conflict is a failure in leadership. If I was still serving, to put my family through that again, it'd be more turmoil, but what would it achieve?
I was in the Wrens in the 70s. My grandson has taken on the same service to his king and to his country. Nigel Farage, I think he would be quite happy to throw our young men and women that serve our country into something which could actually cost lives. I still feel that my Commander-in-Chief is King Charles, and we have a service to our country. Sorry. And I still serve my country today, and I always will serve my country. But I couldn't serve under a man like Farage.
I was a Tory voter up until the last general election, but I was so disillusioned and a sense of betrayal about the mismanagement and the destruction of the economy under the Tory party. They didn't care about the people on the ground doing all the work. And there's no way in hell, if they're in a position of leadership again, they would change that mindset. It's in their DNA. The country is trying to find a way to move forward, and the cost of conflict is immeasurable.
We've all endured a cost of living crisis and seen prices and inflation going up, and I think we were just beginning to turn a corner. And if we would have been led into war by Badenoch and Farage, then things would only be 10 times worse. I think Keir Starmer, at the time of crisis that we've faced and are still facing, he's been the best leader that we could possibly have had.
To be truthful, I was so glad that we had Sir Keir Starmer as a steadying hand on the tiller, as it were.
For the first time in decades, we had a leader that paused and thought, and didn't blindly follow. And for me, that's leadership.
Making the call as to whether to put our armed forces into harm's way is the most important decision any Prime Minister will ever have to take. This is not our war, and we will not be dragged into it. But we must protect our people from the consequences, and that's why we're doing all we can to support them. We're easing the cost of living, and that will continue to be my core focus, getting you and your family the support that you need. Nigel Farage and Kemi Badenoch wanted to jump into the war with both feet without thinking through the consequences. I did, as I will always do, what is right for Britain. Now, I know this period of global instability will be unsettling for so many people, but I know that the British people always rise to the challenge. That's the Britain I know, the Britain I'm so proud to lead, and my Labour government will be with you every step of the way.
I have a son and a son-in-law currently serving in the armed forces. My son was on notice to go on a